Yo, what's going on, guys? Monday, YouTube gang. Let's talk about it. So this is a little bit off topic of what the normal videos are about. You know, I just kind of talk about charts and this, that, and the third, and all that good stuff, information. But yeah, this is a guy called Don Vo. I don't know if any of you guys know him, come across his stuff, watched his live streams, or whatever it might be. Young guy, I don't really know his age, and to be honest, I only really came across this guy this last couple of months. Obviously, down to one of the traders that I trade with, Josh. He kind of mentioned this guy's name a few times, said he does live streams. Obviously, I sit here all day, so I get to kind of have the time to tune in to, different bits and pieces and all that sort of stuff. So I actually looked at this guy's live stream one time, watched a few of his videos. Seems very knowledgeable. Dog in the background, obviously just fucking grumpy shitbag. Yeah, seems to be very knowledgeable, has a very different way of trading to what I've ever seen before. Obviously, I come from the kind of OG days of trading, like 6-7 years ago, 5-6-7 years ago, and learning about risk to reward. It was always supposed to be positive risk to reward. He is the first person that I ever come across, apart from an algorithm, that traded manually with a negative risk to reward. Which, okay, it's okay in my eyes if it is on something like a currency pair to a certain extent, because, it's a lot less volatile and you're a lot less kind of going to get stopped out as quick. But this guy trades it on gold, right? And he does it on live stream. Don't get me wrong. I've seen him hit a fair amount of trades on live and, with negative risk to reward. But I remember watching one live stream and I literally was gobsmacked at the fact that his stop loss was about near on 200 pips and his take profit was about 20 pips. Now, I know that's easily achievable with gold because, gold can move 20 pips in next to fuck all, like 5 minutes. Not even that sometimes if you happen to catch it at the right time. But I was still absolutely amazed at that kind of risk to reward. Obviously, he's gone through the motions of flipping an account. I think it was from $100 to like 500k, or maybe it's more. I don't really know. I can't remember. He's done it on live stream and he's obviously documented it, which is cool. Fair enough. But then it came about last Friday. I think this happened. The actual thing happened on Thursday, but I heard about it on Friday because a few people, obviously in groups and stuff like that, were talking about it. And he was a manager of a investment fund, right? Now, first off, I can say that I have been a manager of a investment fund, or a PAM, copy trader service, and I've talked about this in a previous video where there was many different things that went on. It didn't blow, but people lost money down to many different reasons, but I'll go through that at the end of the video. But I want to speak on this first and give you my perspective. But this guy, he's a very big influence in the trading space. You can see he's got 126k subscribers, decent views on his videos, 73k. Every time I tuned into his live stream, he'd have about, I don't know, like 1.5, 2k plus viewers, a very active chat. So if you take yourself from a person that's just learning and you've got this guy that is opening a managed kind of investment fund, and I know it's on Blueberry Markets. Blueberry Markets have a minimum kind of requirement of what money you can invest, which is $5,000. People would have come to this investment fund, invested their money, 5,000, be it more. I've heard lots of different stories and stuff like that from people that invested 54k, 30k, all this sort of stuff. And he had over $1 million in funds, basically. And Now, there's going to be probably a profit split there. There's got to be a profit split, otherwise it's just not worth his time doing it. And I would probably speculate that he was on some sort of rebate scheme, i.e., Blueberry Markets would be paying him a certain amount of dollars per lot traded. So he would have been making a decent amount of money on rebate and performance fee. And I know this from just setting up a new PAM for myself and clients looking to get involved in that. You can actually get a percentage of deposit. So, i.e., the broker will give you a certain amount of percentage for the deposit or something like that if it is all lost, right? I haven't actually gone for that option because I'm not looking to lose people's money. So I've just got like, I think it's about 10 or 15% performance fee. And, you know, it'll be able to get my trades and maybe a few other people's trades if, you know, they get involved with it as well. But I've just my personal one, so just be my trades, a few, not all, because, you know, I still want to have the pay group service. But this guy would have been taking his trades on that MAM account, right? MAM, PAM, completely different thing. A MAM account is basically all of the investor's money sat on his MT4 or MT5, right? He has not invested a single penny into that. It is basically all the investor's money sat on his MT4 or MT5 balance, equity, blah, blah, blah. That is what he's trading with, okay? PAM is basically, I'd have to put in £1,000 or something of my own money, and that would basically just copy over to everybody else's accounts, blah, blah, blah. MAM is different. Whatever profit is made on that whole equity, a proportion of that is paid out to every investor, depending on their investment amount. So obviously, the higher the investor amount, the more profit they will get paid compared to somebody that maybe only put 5,000 in. And supposedly he made 85% in the first 2 months. Now, that's an amazing percentage gain. I can relate to this because I actually did 70% in the first 2 months of having my PAM account, not MAM, PAM account. And yeah, it was very, very aggressive trading. I was trading gold all the fucking time. I think my drawdown percentage was about 20% or so. So, you know, relatively still low, what I would, for the way that I trade anyway, swing trading 20%, especially on gold, can be around that sort of region anyway. Any algorithms and stuff that trade gold, they normally have 10 to 20%. But this guy managed to blow. So even if you go, he had a million, and he made 85% on that, right? That's a decent percentage gain on a million, depending whether or not people redeposited more money in there to up their investments or something like that. But I've heard lots of different speculations of it being around 2.5 to 3 million that he lost overall, right? The whole MAM account completely blown, gone, finito, done and dusted. Everyone's profit that they made, they lost that and their deposit. And it seems a bit weird, right? And the reason why I say this is watching the guy on stream, he seems very patient, he seems very disciplined, and he seems to stick to very, very strict rules, right? Has a different way of trading. It's something that I've never ever seen before, and that's what actually got me watching his videos. You know, all this stuff with bottom wicks and creating top wicks and all this sort of stuff is lower time frame type trading. So it's not something that I would, you know, look to always trade myself. But, you know, taking those bits from every individual that teaches a different strategy and maybe trying to implement stuff onto your strategy is always the rule of thumb anyway. Okay, if you can see the same sort of things play out on your time frames, then, you know, it's been a decent reason to watch that person. But yeah, it seems very odd that he managed to blow that amount of money in a single day, in a single session. I think it was New York session that he managed to blow the whole account. Now, I've got two different theories on this, okay? First theory is he's been very quiet on social media prior to this anyway, okay? And to me, I don't know if it was all blown in one day. it seems like it's very hard to believe that it was all blown in one day, but could be quite possible. But if someone has been off social media, off YouTube, off live streaming, but still trading, that means to me that they, are still about their business. They're just not live streaming it. Now, there must be a reason why you're not live streaming, but you're still trading and running your Discords and running your groups and stuff like that. So I'm kind of thinking maybe this started a little bit further back. Maybe he started losing percentages or percentage gains on the account and stopped going live in case people in his live chat were calling him out. Now, that's kind of my perspective on it, but supposedly, according to all the facts and this, that, and the third, he managed to do it in one session. Now, that is a lot of equity to lose in one session. Don't get me wrong. I know the lot sizes that he is trading with on his supposed own money, which is about 40 lots per trade, right? And that, I think, is only a 500k trading account. Now, that's big on gold. And he doesn't just risk a certain percentage. He just has a fixed lot size, and that's what he trades. So he's sometimes maybe prepared to lose 10 to 20% of his own equity, right? Which is a very, very risky way of trading. So with a potential £2.53 million MAM account, imagine what the lot sizes might be. Do you know what I mean? I don't know Blueberry markets. I don't know if they allow, 100, 200 lots, but losing that amount of money that quick, he's got to have been trading with that amount of lot sizes. And, I've seen different screenshots of, people's breakdowns from Blueberry markets, all the positions, and it's just a lot of buying and selling and buying and selling. I don't know if it's the same time, but Thursday last week we had GDP, and and rule of thumb anyway for me is I don't normally take trades in news regardless. If I'm in setups, then that's because they were before news, and I would hope to be in a decent amount of profit to have everything risk free. But if I do take a trade on news, it is on my own account without anybody else coming along with it. It is me just trading on my own account, risking my own capital. I haven't sent any setups out or nothing. It is just me taking my own setup. I did that on Friday. Said about gold going 2025 to 25.25 to 2500s, closing below around that area. And I took that on my own personal account because we had GDP Thursday, and we had, I think it was PPC or whatever it is, one of the big red news folders, which caused gold to come down to 25. So going back to this guy, something doesn't sit right with me. Something doesn't sit right with a lot of people that I've seen talking about this, that he managed to just blow this whole MAM account. Now, few people have said to me they think it's he's done it on purpose, that he's got some sort of deal with Blueberry markets. That's fine, because if Blueberry markets has set his MAM account to the B-book side, then those trades aren't being placed in the live market anyway. So those trades are essentially just not being placed. That whole equity pool is being held by the liquidity provider, and they're not trading it in the live market anyway, so that is basically profit for them. Now, if he's got a percentage on deposit, be it maybe 80%, then that's what I've seen people say, then he's getting 80% of the deposits, right? So even if it's just a mil, he's got 800k from those deposits, okay? So the broker is giving let's just say 1 million is deposited onto Blueberry markets, right? His MAM account is B-book. Let's just say that for argument's sake, it is B-book side. The liquidity provider has taken that million, put it to one side, and gone, right, Donvo, this is essentially like, it's not like a funded account, but you know, the same sort of concept works. You know, if you are B-booked, with 95% of people are, that when they sign up to brokers, they are B-booked. The broker is paying you out of their own pocket for every trade that you win in the market, okay? Because your deposit is just sat on the sideline. It's not actually, none of your trades being placed in the live market. A-book side, completely different. I've talked about this in another video. If you are A-booked, then the liquidity provider is hedging your position in the live market and making money itself. I don't think Don Vo's one was like that. So he's potentially got performance fees paid out by the broker, and he's potentially got 80% of the deposits, right? Because since this whole thing has happened, he has not come out and said a single word. He's not been active in his Discord. He's not been active on his social media. He's taken down things in his Discord and his social media as well. Again, haven't seen him live. Nothing, right? And normally, you know, I've seen some bits of people saying, oh yeah, he said his account got hacked, his Blueberry Markets account got hacked, his MT4 got hacked, or something like that. If your shit has got hacked, right, then first you come out and you try at least to show some sort of, you know, self-awareness, some sort of sympathy towards your clients, your investors, or whatever it might be, and, you know, try to at least describe what's gone on, right? But even if his MT4 has got hacked, to me, there's no benefit unless someone is literally trying to tarnish his name and ruin his reputation. The only thing that person can do is blow that account for him to make him have a bad rep. They can't withdraw the money. They can't benefit in any way, shape, or form apart from tarnishing his name. Now, I don't believe that that's the case. I don't believe that someone has hacked his account or whatever. But let me just speak about the mindset behind MAM and PAM accounts, right? And I will tell you from first-hand experience what can happen, right? Now, this is not defending him because I didn't do what he did. Like I said, I was going to talk about my PAM account that I had going on Finesse FX. Anybody that's on here will know about that, or maybe have come across that. I was doing very well on the PAM account that I had. I had about 250 investors. I'd built up the equity to around, I think it was about 700k to a point. And the broker came to me. Now, obviously, this was partly owned by Harrison. Harrison had no fucking idea what was going on behind the scenes. But there was a guy that was involved in the broker that I used to talk to on a day-to-day basis. And he was always saying to me, oh, yeah, like, you're doing really well with the PAM account. Like, have you thought about doing this? Have you thought about putting this algorithm involved, getting this algorithm involved and trading alongside it? And at this point, I'd had zero fucking idea what algorithms do, or this, that, and the third. And spoke to him about it, and he was like, yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. So I started trading how I normally traded, right? On gold. Gold took a bit of a shit, but it was fine. We were managing it. We were hedging in positions. We were getting ourselves out of drawdown. But then this algorithm started kicking in. And it was one of these martingale grid strategies, right? Which, again, I had no fucking idea what those martingale grid strategies did. But those martingale grid strategies think that you have a certain amount of money disposed to you and margin and all this sort of stuff. So it started placing in loads of positions, started from 0.01 and would continue going. The further it got into drawdown, it would up the lot sizes. And I'm looking at my free margin on my account, which was controlling everybody else's, and thinking, well, hold on a minute. I've not got a lot of margin left, and it's still placing positions. And I'm texting him. He's not responding. I'm calling him, bro, turn the fucking algorithm off. It's going to blow my account, blah, blah, blah. No response. Then about 3-4 hours later, all it's doing is closing positions out because there's no margin left. It's closing more positions out. There's no margin left. it's closing my gold positions out because there's no margin left, right? And all that's doing is mirroring to every other person that's following me. So they're losing money, I'm losing money because of this algorithm. And then I turned around to him, I was like, bruv, what the fuck is going on? Like, I've been trying to get hold of you for the last 2 days to get this fucking algorithm off, to stop it from trading because I can't do anything because you control it. And now it's gone and lost like 300k of the equity. And he's like, oh, well, you know, you can just change your password on your account and it will stop it. And I'm like, okay, why wasn't that something that you could have told me 2 fucking days ago? So then I could have at least not got into this position. So I got the algorithm off and I had to come back and try and build this money back. And I started doing well. Brought 20% back. Started, you know, getting back into my rhythm after being, you know, aggressive alongside this algorithm and losing a bit of money, blah, blah, blah. Then, all of a sudden, the broker wanted to switch liquidity providers. Okay? He wanted to switch liquidity providers in the middle of, you know, everything else going on. And I was told, yeah, this will be fine. Don't worry about it. Just don't place any more trades. Leave the ones that are open. Everything will be fine. Swap liquidity providers. Sunday opens started happening. And when I tell you Sunday opens, you know, they don't really do much. My positions that I had on gold, on GJ, all of a sudden were opening up 1,000 pips in slippage to the upside. Trades that I had been holding in profit were slipping and hitting stop loss. Trades that I had in a little bit of drawdown, but ones that were in profit, were slipping, taking out all the ones that were in profit and the ones that were in drawdown. Now, again, I didn't really know much about B-Book and A-Book, but when I started to learn about it, because somebody else told me about it, it all started to make sense to me. This broker didn't want to pay me out or pay the clients out the money that was being made. It wanted to essentially blow that money because then that is profit for the broker, right? That is money in the back pocket for the broker. 700, 300k is money for the back pocket of the broker, okay? And I'm not saying that this is what's happened with Don, but there's going to be lots of different factors that's brought it to this point. Like I said, maybe he started losing money on it and started to panic, right? Started to try and be aggressive to pull those percentage gains back because, like I said, his stop loss is that big that maybe he's lost 10% in one trade. 10% to a lot of the investors on their account might be big losses, right? And people are going to start voicing their opinions in the Discord. So then he's going to go and try and make that 10% back and maybe go and lose another 10%. Then another 10%, then another 10%. And all of a sudden, he's just digging that hole deeper and deeper and deeper and getting himself into a worse position. Now, like I said, it's one of them that if he's not really bothered because he knows that he's getting money for that anyway, then it's one of them. It's a tough pill to swallow for the investors that he has probably still come out with money. You know, it's the same as these meme coins. These meme coins that are, you know, put out by influencers. I'm not saying anybody. We already know about that situation. You know, they still make money when you guys lose. The investors, they lost all of their money. They fucking feel shit. This guy, again, you're not going to know the truth. Unless he comes out and says something, you're not going to know the truth about what's happened. All I know is, blowing 2.53 million, there's going to be backlash. You know, I've seen some of the posts from the people that were invested. You know, they're close to suicidal, sorry. But, again, I'm not being funny, but if you have got 50k in life savings, I'd like to see the sign-up process with this guy, because there's not a single person that I've spoken to over the 2 years that I've been involved in groups and signing people up and stuff like that I have ever said, and someone's turned around to me and gone, I can only afford this, or I can't really afford this, but fuck it, I'll go for it. If someone turns around to me and says, I can't afford this, but let's go for it, I go, no. Go and watch some videos, go get a demo account, trade for a little bit, see if it's something that you can actually stomach, then come back, leave the money that you were going to invest to the side for a month, see if you actually need to touch it within that month to pay for stuff. If you don't, fine, you can afford it. But anybody that comes to me and says, oh, I've got 10K and I want to go all in on FX, I go, cool, start with a K. Leave the 9K, sat wherever, start with £1,000. If you want to see, relatively decent money, I'm not talking about fucking hundreds, maybe 10, 15 quid a trade or something like that. Risking the correct amount. Start with that. Start to see how the signals are over the course of a month. Then put maybe another 500 quid in. But never go full ham with, fucking 10K if you've got it there as disposable income or you've got it there as savings, because this is one of the riskiest things in the fucking world to get involved with investments. So when it comes to people investing into this guy's MAM account, yes, there's going to be some sort of, just get rich quick scheme that's across most of his clients' heads, because he's a young guy, so he's going to have a young following. But you've got to take some responsibility when it comes to your savings. If you want to invest, then fair enough, okay? Put a little bit in, because then you're not sat with egg on your face when something goes fucking wrong, like it has done. But do I think this guy is going to come out and talk about it? Probably not. Probably not. Like I said, yes, he's got 126k subscribers. I wouldn't say he's well known. There's probably a lot of you guys that watch this that might not know who he is. So a lot of these people just fly under the radar. So again, I think, especially now, we live in a generation where a lot of this shit that happens in the world with influencers and money-making schemes and all this sort of stuff, affiliate marketing, scamming, blah, blah, blah. It's like a page in the news. It's there for a week, and then the next week there's something else that's on the front page. And whatever it was forgotten about. Because nothing happens. All these guys that are, doing this, that, and the third with their life, and this, and social media, and whatever, courses, prop firms, and blowing them, and taking money from people, FX Alex G having a prop firm, and then not paying anybody out, and closing it down, running off with the money. That's not spoken about. It flies under the radar. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like that you'll never beat these guys. Do you know what I mean? The masses will never beat these guys. I mean, I don't know. Depending on who's invested into him, he might have some nasty people after him right now. I don't know. But not addressing it is probably one of the worst things that you can do. Because if you have done it by accident, you've just done it purely by stupidity, then even still, coming out with some sort of respectful acknowledgement to your clients and investors is a lot better than sitting there in silence. Because, stuff like this, people all want closure. And that's what I had to do over, the course of 2-3 months. I had to own up to stuff in groups, on social media, on here, on YouTube. I had to do it. Because at the end of the day, there was a lot of people that did lose money. I lost money. I take accountability for being too aggressive whilst trading alongside an algorithm that I didn't know how it worked. But there was things that were out of my control as well. Slippage, liquidity provider being changed, you know, realizing we were on B-Book and working with a scammy broker. So it's all lessons learned. But with this guy not coming out and saying anything or just being very, very quiet and not addressing it, it's not, I don't think it's correct. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's respectful for, like I said, his clients and stuff. So he needs to address it. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comment section. If you know this guy or whatever, drop a comment. But yeah, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. I'll do a midweek video Wednesday and a few live streams this week. So tune in to those.